Welcome back to the 9th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy.
How we doing, sir?
We
Back for
are
another
doing
week?
we are doing just peachy. Yeah. It's Halloween in Gotham, isn't it?
So this is season 1, episode 9, Zelda the Great. Episode aired Wednesday, February 9th, 1966. Directed by Norman Foster and written by Lorenzo Semple Jr., which, if memory serves, did the first 2 episodes.
Absolutely. He also did the movie, and he wrote kind of the show Bible for other writers as well. And I also want to point out too that this is based on an actual comic story that was in Detective Comics number 346 called Batman's Inescapable Doom Trap. It was written by John Broome, penciler Sheldon Moldoff, inker Joe Gaela. I'm probably butchering that name, sorry. With Julie Swartz as an editor. So yeah, I want to give the original comic story writers a lot of credit, because even though this is an adaptation, and Zelda actually does not appear in the comics, because as we'll talk about in a bit, this is her debut. I don't think she's ever been in the comics. I don't know. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, the story of the Batman and there being a death trap and all of that sort of thing, and the inventor that's mentioned in this, or that appears in this, is actually in the story too. So
All right. Let's go ahead and get into the recap. The Gotham National Bank at exactly 8:37 p.m. An explosion alerts a security guard to a robbery in progress. The guard attempts to shoot the robber, but they are wearing a bulletproof vest. The robber knocks out the guard and then gets away with $100,000 in cash. Commissioner Gordon attempts to call Batman on the hotline, but nobody is inside Wayne Manor to answer the bat phone. Bruce, Dick, and Alfred are out on a balcony at Wayne Manor stargazing. When Aunt Harriet spots the bat signal, Bruce remembers that he and Dick have tickets to a lecture on Latin American affairs at Gotham Town Hall. Holy Venezuela! They hurry so they can catch some of it. Batman and Robin arrive at the bank and wonder why the thief stole exactly $100,000, leaving $500,000 in the vault. The thief has a pattern of stealing $100,000 each April 1st, April Fool's Day. Batman plants a story at the newspaper to draw out the thief. The paper reports big joke on bank bandit. Stolen cash was counterfeit. Back at the Batcave, Batman discovers that the recovered bullet from the bank robbery passed through 13 layers of brightly colored silk and perfume. The dynamic duo deduced that the thief was a female. Robin guesses the Catwoman, but Batman states that she is in jail. It must be someone new. Batman lays a trap for the thief by displaying a counterfeit Star of Samarkand at Stonewind's salon. The fake emerald has a homing beacon planted in the center of it. Batman and Robin hide in a balcony while 2 of Chief O'Hara's best men wait outside disguised as electricians. Back at Wayne Manor, Aunt Harriet receives a phone call that Dick Grayson was struck in the head with a batted ball. A special taxi has been sent to pick up Mrs. Cooper. Back at Stonewind's salon, Batman and Robin have been waiting 2 hours for the thief to strike. An old woman dressed in black enters. She sprays a purple gas and transforms into Zelda as the other patrons flee. Batman and Robin jump down from the balcony and surround Zelda. She disappears before her she disappears before their eyes, an illusion. While heading back, while heading back, while heading toward the Batmobile, Robin discovers the discarded emerald. Batman realizes Zelda knew about their trap and was merely taunting them. Batman gets a call on the Batmobile's red phone informing the dynamic duo that Mrs. Harriet Cooper has been kidnapped. The ransom is for $100,000 to be delivered in 1 hour only. Back at Zelda's hideout, Mrs. Cooper is dangling over a vat of flaming oil, blindfolded and in a straitjacket. Robin exclaims, "Holy backfire!" on their plan to catch the thief. Holy backfire is right. Aunt Harriet has only 1 hour. What'll it be? Splash or salvation? Hold a hopeful breath for Aunt Harriet until tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Hey, we get the Bat Time and Bat Channel again, and we get them like visually.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, that means it's here to stay because they just paid for that graphic. So
Yep.
they're gonna have that graphic again, probably, but well, we know
Okay.
it
One
will.
of the first things I want to talk about before I forget about it, when Batman and Robin get that phone call on the Batmobile hotline,
Yes.
some gentleman comes over and is standing right next to him, and Robin says Aunt Harriet, and he almost gets the whole thing out when Batman interrupts him. And it's like I
Dude,
thought that was hilarious.
it's hilarious, but it's also, I don't think Adam West gets near enough credit because I mean, I think we've gone a little bit. I think we've gone a couple of episodes without talking about how good he is because he does these little things and Adam as Bruce as Batman, especially in this episode, when he finds out not only that he's been duped, like that he's wrong, that they've been outsmarted by the crook, but that someone close to him has been taken kidnapped, you can see, even though he's wearing the mask, you can see how upset he is. He's like, "What?" Like he's just like, you know, he almost he almost gives it away. And so it's only natural that Dick would be expressive as well and almost give it away. And yes, it is really funny that this guy just comes out of nowhere and you're like, what's going on here? And then he's not relevant to anything. It was just, funny for the gag or whatever. But yeah, I think
What's even funnier before we move on, what's even funnier about that is the fact I can see that happening in real life. You have a Batmobile and Batman and Robin there, and some guy just comes snooping up there.
he's like, hey, look at that car. I mean, I would. That car is beautiful. I'd want
Yep.
if I could get a closer look at it, I'm like, whoa, hey, the Batmobile, I didn't know it was here. I thought you guys were working on electrical stuff. Um, yeah, it's fun. It's so much fun. This is a fun story. Like I said, it was based on a comic, but the comic did not have Zelda in it. It had, a male villain that was trying to capture and put Batman in a death trap. But according to the notes I was reading, the research I was reading, Lorenzo Semple Jr. was told by the producers, William Dozer and whatnot, to work in a dame whenever possible. And so we have our first female villain. And oddly enough, it's not Catwoman. Although, go ahead,
She's
say it. I know
mentioned.
she's mentioned
Yep.
because they're confused. They're like, hey, it must be a female, and their first thought is Catwoman. So we know Catwoman exists, um, but it's not her. um Zelda is played by the remarkable and I think Academy Award winning, if I'm not mistaken, Ann Baxter. I believe she won for All About Eve, which I think that's the best thing I've ever seen her in. She's a very accomplished actress, and she excels, I think, in playing women that are flirty, kind of, I mean, obviously good looking, and yet have something to hide. They're really good at being sneaky, suspicious, cunning, and she's really, really good at that. And that's what she brings to the table here, because she even tries it on her inventor friend, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't miss, I messed up or whatever. Please show me." And he's like, "Look, I could see the tears that that you're like putting on your face, like." That's not gonna work, and she's not she's not daunted at all. She's just like, "Oh, well, all right, so next up." um I think she's great. We never see this character again, either on the show, or I mean, we see her obviously in the second part of this, but we don't see her in the run of the show. We do see the actress again. Ann Baxter is the only actress to play two uh, villains. Later on, she will be, well, I think I will save that for later. We'll come across her later, but she will not be Zelda.
Okay.
But she's the only actress to play two villains in the Batman series. What did you think of Ann Baxter? I'm not sure how familiar you are with and if you've seen this episode before, and what you think of Zelda.
I think I have seen this episode before, but I don't remember it. Because I remember the character of Zelda.
Hmm.
So, and I also remembered Mrs. Cooper dangling over that pit.
It is pretty visually striking, isn't it? Like
So
she's
I
just kind of
know,
kicking her legs, like
yeah.
hanging over. You're like,
So
oh man.
when I saw the death trap, I was like, that is familiar. I don't remember any of the other anything else about the episode, but I do remember Zelda as a villain before. So I know I've seen the episode, I just didn't remember it.
It is the
So, but I really like the scene where she comes in the black, and then, poof, she's Zelda. Batman and Robin come together, and she just disappears because she was an illusion.
right, right. Yeah. She's great. They do a lot of like really fun effects with her. She's smart, although neither she nor the inventor, Ekdal, are smart enough to. This is this is the thing that kind of threw me here. It's like, okay, so Batman puts out the false story that the money that she stole was fake, right? That's counterfeit. So then he also puts out a story that, this gem, this star of Zamerkin, or whatever we want to pronounce it as, um is going to be, will be displayed. And she makes the, smart assumption that this is not a coincidence. This is a trap. But she doesn't go any further than that by thinking, well, that means that the money I stole is actually real. Instead, she still assumes that the money she stole was fake, which, if Batman's trying to lay traps for her, she might go, okay, well, he was laying a trap for me in the bank. I stole some counterfeit money, and now he's laying another trap for me. That kind of makes sense. Only she didn't know that he didn't, he just learned of her existence. As a matter of fact, I think as of this, he still doesn't know who she is, right? Like
Yeah, that's
he
right.
just yeah, as of the end of this part of the episode, he just knows that that's a woman that wasn't there. And that his ward's aunt, not his aunt, which I made that mistake when we started the show. That it was I was all confused because I thought Aunt Harriet was actually, Bruce's aunt, but it's Dick's aunt. And I did like, I mean, that scene was kind of chilling too, because it's weird because it's a fun show to watch, but I do think that there's a few elements there that are like that really get to you in terms of how chilling they are. And one of them is when Aunt Harriet takes that call, and because we know that Dick's not hurt,
Exactly.
so we know she's going into danger. Oh, you're gonna pick me up. Oh, that's nice of you. Like kind of thing. And uh and so that is kind of troubling. And then, as you pointed out, the last shot of her just dangling there. I mean, yes, we know that that's not really uh the actress that plays Aunt Harriet hanging from there. But yeah, I should probably get her name because
But
I it's on every
but
I
this is
see
the
it.
first time we see
Madge Blake, right? It's not really
where
Madge Blake hanging
neither
there.
Batman, Robin, or even Bruce Wayne are in trouble.
Exactly. Yeah, they mixed it up this time. And this is
Yeah.
like and Mrs. Cooper, Aunt Harriet, whatever you want to call her, I guess we should call her Miss Cooper so as not to, reveal their identities. Um uh but Miss Cooper's been there kind of in the background and here and there, but we don't really know much about her. So and this is really early for her to be kidnapped and put into danger. I think because, obviously it's a woman and it's an elderly woman, so very vulnerable. And yes, she's dangling from, I mean, yeah, what is it? Acid or whatever that's there in there?
I believe it was, let me check my notes, but I believe it was boiling oil.
Boiling oil. Man, that's like, I mean, that's not
Flaming, it's over a vat of flaming oil.
Yeah, that's not easy to get. So, but apparently Ekdal has, in his little bookstore has means to get a lot of stuff, especially if Zelda's paying him 100 grand every year.
Yeah, that's a
So,
lot of money back then too.
yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, I don't know what that translates to, but yeah, you're right. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money now.
Yeah.
I'll take that now. But yeah, so yeah, there's other funny moments in this too. Anything strike you as being particularly memorable or you wanted to point out?
Let's see. I thought it was interesting that we started the episode out with stargazing. And instead of getting the call on the hotline, we actually used the bat signal for
Good
once.
call. We get to see the bat signal for the first time, which I thought like because yeah, when he goes to call them after their, scene of incompetence once again. They're like, this is a third time, this is a third year in a row that this thief is struck, and we are no closer to getting her than that person than we ever have. They don't even know it's a woman, and so they're like, I guess we better call Batman. Like third time, third time they finally call Batman. Like this has been happening for 2 years, and
What's another thing that's funny about that, though, I think, is as tuned as Bruce Wayne is on the goings on in Gotham and all these exhibits and stuff going on, you'd think he'd be aware of this repeat theft
yes,
every year.
absolutely. Yeah, that somebody has done this not once but twice. Like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Oh well, I've got other, I mean, granted, he has to choose. Do you fight the Riddler that day or some bank robber? You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Um
They could have been busy doing other stuff.
and really almost every time we've seen him go into action, it's because the police have called him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't seem to just like monitor or like in the comics he goes on actually like routine
Patrol.
thank you. Thank you. Man, he goes on patrols and checks things out and has leads that he checks out himself. I mean, he is a form of justice that, separate from the police. But here he is a deputy of the police. So he
And
works for them.
maybe that's part of their agreement too. Maybe he's not, maybe by being deputized, he's not allowed to take on these cases unless he's called upon.
It's true. It'll be interesting to see going forward if he ever, does something on his own, or if it's always the police that call him. But I did, yes. I mean, as soon as because we've seen them like reach for the bat phone, but in this occasion, he's like, Gordon says, send up the signal, and two guys leave, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're not going to see that. because it's too expensive or whatever. But then we actually do get to see the bat signal. So that was pretty cool. That was the first time we got to see it. We got to see the cartoon graphic at the end and the credits and all that. of the bat signal, and I think in the opening credits, but we haven't seen it in the show yet. And man, there's just something really cool about seeing the bat signal.
Oh yeah. It's iconic.
Yep, yep. So yeah, good call there. Yeah, so I have no idea how how they're gonna get out of this. How Aunt Harriet's gonna get out of this. I mean, obviously she's gonna need help to get out of it.
Yes.
I don't think she's gonna be able to, like, she doesn't have a utility belt, right? So
No.
so she's gonna have to do that. And the tracker that Batman put in the gem is, I mean, she ditched it. So he has no idea where they are. So my guess is that, he's going to have to, they're going to have to arrange the ransom. And in that case, he's going to have to show up. But I don't think they really want to harm Aunt Harriet, because I think they made it clear that they need Batman to solve their problem of how to get out of the death trap. It's one of those things, it's like the Penguin, it's like, I'm gonna use Batman to come up with a crime, like a crime that I'm gonna commit. So this is almost the same kind of thing where it's like, we need Batman to figure out how to get out of this inescapable box that I created, so that Zelda can go on tour with it and make a lot of money. But not that much money, because she still needs to steal money to give to the
Right.
inventor.
But she'll be able to pay him with the ransom money she's going to get. So
Theoretically, yes. Yeah.
theoretically, yes.
So yeah, we'll have to see if Bruce has that on hand, because the cops were like, "We don't have that kind of money." So, so we'll see if Bruce can get that money within an hour.
Yeah, that's not a
uh,
lot of time for making a withdrawal.
no, it is not. It is not. Yeah. Good stuff here. Good stuff here. Actually, it's the first episode too, I believe, that doesn't have a fight.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize that. You're right. It doesn't have a fight, does it?
Nope, no henchman.
Yeah, that's right.
And
No
he's not,
henchman.
he's not going to punch a woman.
No.
He is Batman is not going to punch a woman. So yeah, there's no fight in this one. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know. We'll see what that looks like next week. But I find it hard to believe that we're not going to get any fight. But
Yeah, there's got to
um,
be something. Something's got to happen. We'll
we'll
see. I guess
see.
we'll find out. Now, thinking back, wasn't the very first episode, didn't that one not have a fight either?
It's possible. I
I thought
think it had a fight, but there wasn't the graphics.
oh, the graphics. That's right.
Yeah, it didn't have
I
the
think that's what it
bam,
was.
zing, all that stuff. So I think they were trying to save a little bit of money with the graphics. They spent so much on the signal, they didn't have enough money for for fight choreography or for graphics for the thing. So it's all a balance. It's all a balance. But yeah, this is our first female villain of the series, and I think she's pretty good. Like you said, I think it's because Ann Baxter is so good. She makes it memorable. I'm surprised that she wasn't used again in this role. And I'm kind of surprised that, I mean, I guess maybe legally they wouldn't be able to put her in the comics or anything like that, just because, you know, of rights issues and all that kind of stuff. So, but
That's possible, but we have seen other characters cross over from television shows into the comics. Harley Quinn,
yes, we
but
have.
that's more in the future.
That's in the future. Yeah, there's no Harley Quinn in the '60s series.
No. All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
I do have a shout out. This is actually a book that's not Batman related, at least not directly. I recently picked up and read, but this is kind of like, if you like your campy villains, if you like your campy superheroes. I picked up a book, or I got this book actually as a present, I think, called The Legion of Regrettable Supervillains. Right, and it's part of a series. John Morris has come out with these nice hardcover collections of actual heroes, villains, characters that were created in comics from the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Modern Age, all throughout the run of comics. that are just kind of ridiculous, silly, over the top. I've started with villains. I think the first one he put out was superheroes, then he did supervillains, and then I think he did one on sidekicks. But my particular two favorites among these bizarre baddies was a villain called, this is from the gold, these are both from I think the Golden Age. A villain called Phantasmon, whose signature power was nasal lightning, like lightning shot out of his nose. Uh, and also, I think my favorite overall, though, my favorite, and this is from Police Comics in the 40s, was a villain named Brickbat, who dressed up like a bat. He wore actually the cowl, not the cape, but the cowl, like he looked like Batman, like a mask like Batman. So he dressed like a bat, and he strikes his victims with bricks. Uh, he carries bricks and throws them at people. So, and that's that's Brickbat. I don't know why they didn't catch on, but they would be, a lot of the villains that show up here would be perfectly suited to appear in the 60s Batman series. A lot of them are so campy and fun. But yeah, the only thing about this book that I will say is, like, they call it the Legion of Regrettable supervillains, but I don't regret anything. I don't regret reading this. I don't think I think these are just fun characters, and I think the creators don't regret writing them either, because I think they're just like a lot of fun, and that's what makes comics fun. That's what makes this series Batman fun. And so it's very much even though it's not a direct tie-in, I think it's right there stylistically with the series. So yeah, check it out if you guys haven't. I'll probably check out the other two volumes now that I've read this one.
All right. And for my shout out, this week I'm going to shout out about the Earth Station DCU podcast,
There you
other
go.
podcast. Be a little shout out to that. If you like to, read comics, or maybe even if you don't read comics, because you don't actually have to read them, because I do a recap on all the comics we talk about. We are talking about some good series we're reviewing right now. Green Lantern, both the Green Lantern series and what is it? That's the other one called Green Lantern War Journal. One of them focuses on Hal, the other one focuses on John Stewart.
Okay.
And it feels like we're back in the Jeff Johns era of Green Lantern right now. Both titles have been really good, so I suggest checking those out. In the Batman issue right now, I'm not that excited about the story they've been doing with Zur-En-Arrh,
Right.
but I think there's going to be an important Joker origin story coming up, where they might be rehashing his origin again. So I'm not looking forward to it, but I have a feeling it's going to have repercussions on Joker in the future. So it's important. I think it's important to at least for us to review it. But if people want to, see what's going on with the Joker and whatever this new origin is going to be for him, and I think it's going to be important for Batman history at some point.
Yeah. Who's
So
writing that?
Chip Zdarsky
Gotcha.
is
Yeah, I
writing
have
that.
not checked out any of his Batman work yet. I liked his work on Spider-Man. I think he did some Spider-Man. Yeah, and I did enjoy that. So I'll be curious to see, Batman's a little bit different. So I'll be curious to see what that is like eventually when I get some of the trades or whatever.
Some of his stuff I've liked, and some of it hasn't for the Batman story. So
Gotcha.
I haven't been that excited about the Zur-En-Arrh story, but
Mm.
I have a feeling I'm not going to be that excited about the Joker's origin either, because honestly, I like Joker with really no origin, not knowing who he is and stuff like that. Now,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I've always liked the Red Hood origin story for him, because you don't really know who he is, but
Right.
that's classic. But we'll see how that's going to change with this new interpretation. So,
Well, you and Cletus are doing good work.
all right, if you'd like to give us any comment or feedback on the show, you can give us a shout out at 317-455-8411. Leave us a message, text us, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com.
All right.
All right, are you ready to get out of here, Batchum?
Sure thing. BatChums are ready to move out.
Atomic batteries the power, turbines the speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Just wait. The worst is yet to come.